Hey guys, we are here, and let me introduce who we are. I'm Rebecca Taylor, Vivid Artistic Hair Design on Instagram, and this is Alyssa.
Hello.
She's an amazing makeup artist extraordinaire from LA, and I have the privilege to do her hair today. What's your Instagram so people can follow your amazing work?
My Instagram is my name, Alyssa Marie Artistry. Pretty simple.
Yeah, that's easy enough.
Yeah.
She does amazing work. Well, you do. I'm obsessed with the way you color and blend, and I feel like if the hair color I did or do translates to makeup artistry, we're very similar, but just different mediums.
I would agree. I think we're both kind of daredevils in our fields a little bit.
So I'm just really excited to be doing her hair today, and we are going to give her an overhaul. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet, but we've talked about like smoky gray silvers and violets and lavenders and purples, and it's going to be amazing. Her hair's already in like really stellar condition as it is, but I want to lift out some of this old pigment. I'm going to use, I'll tell you what I'm going to use when I get to it, but I don't want to use bleach if I can help it. I want to use an oxidative clear to remove it. It's really healthy on the hair. And my secret weapon, which isn't really a secret anymore, but just loads of Olaplex in everything because it's amazing and you have to use it, in my opinion, when you're dealing with pre-latent hair. So I'm using this. We're going to use Kenra Creatives colors and then Guy Tang's Silver Metallic. We'll just get into all of it here in a second. So that's what we're going to do. So the first step is going to be getting rid of this color, and we're going to do that now. So as you can see with Alyssa's starting situation, she has probably a level 7, level 8 regrowth, and then residual silver bluish direct dye on the ends. So the first thing we have to do is lift that out. Too cute. So what I'm going to use is the Kenra High Lift Ash. So essentially this is a slightly cooler pigmented clear method of removal that I use. So I applied the whole tube of that and 20 volume, and voila, of course, Olaplex #1. So you mix that up, you mix the Kenra High Lift, so basically the oxidative, slightly pigmented clear. And then for the second formula or method of removal, I have to address her regrowth. So I have Lanza Decolorizer. I'm going to apply an ample amount into the bowl because I need to tackle her 2 inches of regrowth. And then the cream liner I love because it's really gentle on the scalp. So I'm only going to be applying this to her virgin hair, not previously lightened. So once I apply I put the decolorizer in the bowl, I'm going to mix that with 20 volume developer, and I'm going to omit Olaplex for this because I'm dealing with virgin hair and I want just adequate amount of lift. So as I go in, I'm applying the Lanza Decolorizer to her regrowth, as I mentioned, and I'm just going to go through just like a root touch-up, and I'm going to apply to all of her regrowth area, avoiding too much overlap on the previously lightened ends. So once the regrowth area is completely saturated with lightener, you wait for it to lift up a little bit. And as you can see here, it's getting really light. It's going to be the appropriate level for the tones that we're going to apply. And the next step, as you can see me do here, I'm applying that Kenra High Lift Ash and 20 volume. So once everything's lifted really light, I need to be void of most warmth. At that point, you just shampoo, follow with Olaplex 2, condition, and you're seeing me blow dry. So she's a very pale blonde. There's a little bit of blue left. There's a little tiny bit of warmth at the scalp, but the shades that I'm going to end up customizing or mixing is going to cancel out the remainder of that warmth, and they're going to be very bold and prominent on those ends. So what you're looking at now is the finished result of the lifting process. Decolorizer on the scalp area with 20 volume and the clear method on the ends. Now we mix our flavors. So what you're seeing here are our 6 tonal values or customized shades. I'm using a mixture of Kenra Color Creatives and the Guy Tang Kenra SM. So in the first 2 bowls, so the upper right hand side is the violet, a little bit of magenta and clear. The lower left, you're seeing violet, blue, and clear. In the next bowl, I have
magenta and a good bit of the clear. This just gives me sort of like a dusty rose, kind of lavender rose. In the next bowl, I have the darkest shade, which is going to be the shadow root. This is the Kenra Creatives blue, lavender, and a good bit of an alternative lines black. And then this is the Kenra SM series with violet and blue booster. In the last bowl, I have Kenra's white, or essentially clear. What I'm going to create by having this clear is I'm going to create muted tones of everything that I just mentioned. I'm also going to use this to gradiate down from those colors down into lighter versions or pastelized versions, just to go lighter on the ends to create even more multi-tonal value with what we already had mixed. So the first step is just diving in with your darkest shade, the one that I'd mentioned that I'd mixed with black, and you apply all over to the root area or the regrowth area to create a smudged shadow root. Once that's applied, then you go in with your different shades, and I've got my Fermar brush. I love Fermar brushes. They're the best for blending. I just feel like they have that softer AccuSoft bristle. They just really allow me to blend. So I apply varying different shades, all the other shades that I mentioned, then you start applying beyond that shadow root and down. You can mix alternate colors, so I'm going back in and just touching up a little bit of the shadow root to make sure it's fully saturated, and then you use your hands and really get in there and blend it. Like I've mentioned before, you can't rely on oxidation or ammonia to really drive that pigment in or swell the cuticle and receive the pigment, so you physically with your hands, mechanically, have to rub the pigment in, or you'll end up with hollow spots and dullness or inconsistency. So you're just going in there and applying different varying shades, and you see the sections or the sized partings I'm taking. It's sort of irregular, and I'm just moving up the head, starting at the nape, moving my way forward, and then the front hairline. Every section sort of is just going to get a different vibe or feeling, just depending on what you feel like are going to be the tones that you are going to select and apply. So you just continue up the head applying these different shades, and you're going to want to let this sit or allow this to process for at least 25 to 30 minutes. If you rinse it too soon, it won't have an ample time to absorb into the hair, and you really want this to last as long as possible. So here you see the finished result of Alyssa's application. Just allow the pieces to lay gently over top of one another on the MB mesh. Allow to process for 25-30 minutes. Make sure you rinse very thoroughly with really cold water, high water pressure. There's no need to shampoo or real reason to condition because the color is a conditioning base. But here you have Alyssa's finished result. I'm just loving all the multi-tonal silvers and grays and lavenders and even a pink hue. She looks amazing with that shadow root. So I hope you guys like it. I wanted to also include a little braid that we did because I think it's important to really showcase your after work and just shows off the dimension of her hair color. So I hope you guys, again, enjoyed it. It's always fun to make these videos for you guys. If you have any questions, comment below. Also, check out my Instagram at Vivid Artistic Hair Design and subscribe if you like what you see to see more videos.
Okay, so we are finished with her hair, and I think Alyssa, are you happy with it?
Definitely.
I think it's super duper pretty. It's like that steel gray and that smoky kind of shadow root going down to all these different tones of lavender and purple. We definitely put in work. We've done several different things. I'll include some photos of some braids that we just did last minute. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was informative and you enjoyed looking at her lovely face in the back of her head for a lot of it. So I will put what I used on her down below. So like it, comment, what everybody says at this point of the video. Thank you guys so much. You guys have a great night.